This is something that people have been bigging and bigging and bigging and bigging. Anton, 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 when are you going to cover Trump? People can't wait for me to cover Trump. Oh my God. When are you going to cover the verdict? I can't believe your boy got handed down a $355 million verdict and all this other stuff. I said, listen, I cover all things that come back to the money, especially when it comes to lawsuits. But you gotta give me some time, baby. I don't even do shows on the weekend, but I did a special show over the weekend because we had to cover the Fannie Willis Nathan Wade case, right? But everybody is saying, listen, Anton, what do you think about the verdict over in New York City? Okay, well, let's get into it. Let's talk about it, all right? And then I'll give you my opinion. But I'm gonna show you a couple different videos in order to bring people up to date on what's going on with the Trump verdict over in New York City. Again, make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Somebody's name is Lurk Squad. Let's get into it, y'all. So this is Trump's, a New York lawyer breaking down the impact of the $355 million penalty verdict over in New York City. This is the first one, courtesy of the Wall Street Journal.
A New York judge ordered Donald Trump and his family business to pay more than $350 million in penalties for fraudulently inflating his wealth for financial gain. If upheld, the ruling could force Trump to forfeit a sizable chunk of his money and lead to a reshuffling at the Trump Organization, which is run by his sons Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr.
It's a ridiculous award. Listen, a fine of $355 million for doing a perfect job.
We asked Mark Zauderer, a veteran New York trial.
And I will be actually playing his entire of how he reacted to it right after this. But this video is basically giving you guys a somewhat of a breakdown, being objective of what happened and what happens next, okay?
And appellate lawyer to break down the judge's decision and what it means for Trump's business empire.
I think it's fair to say that the Attorney General has accomplished her stated goal of bringing to account the Trump Organization as she saw it, because the court has essentially agreed with her, I'd say 100%.
He's talking about the New York Attorney General Letitia James, who brought the lawsuit against Trump and his adult children in 2022. James, a Democrat and vocal critic of Trump, accused the former president of engaging in a decade-long scheme to fraud.
So listen. The idea behind this case was they're looking under every single rock in order to try to discredit, run him into bankruptcy, and to prevent him from becoming the president of the United States again. Okay? That's what this is all about. Also, on top of this, you got to take into consideration the context behind who the people are that are prosecuting him. And this is why we needed a complete overhaul of our justice system and a lot of the things that we experiencing as far as courts are concerned, as far as my opinion. Because you cannot be a person that is a vocal critic and call yourself objective enough to actually be able to effectively prosecute anything or to, give an opinion on something or remove how you feel about a person from the facts behind what it is that he's doing, right? Regardless of where you stand, our job, even as content creators in a lot of ways, right? People want us to give our opinion of what happens on a regular basis on whatever it is. But even when we're reacting to something, our job is to, as much as we possibly can, prevent ourselves from looking at somebody and saying, okay, I don't like they baby mama. I don't like whether or not her hair is twisted in a knot. We joke about these things or whatever, right? But the reality is that our job is also to react to the facts. And that's why I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait over the weekend and get everything that I possibly can, including his reaction to it, in order to make sure that we're looking at this objectively and giving the facts. I don't like Trump sneakers. I also don't agree with every single thing that he does. But the reality is that the way that they even described the black woman who was fiercely Democrat, and they literally said, the Wall Street Journal themselves, this is the Wall Street Journal's post, is saying themselves that they're huge vocal critics of him are the same people that are pursuing him. And even when you talk about a Fonnie Willis or whatever over there in Fulton County with the 91 trumped up charges, and they trying to figure out whether or not she needs to recuse herself when clearly she for the streets. But let's continue.
Fraudulently and falsely value his assets to acquire loans at bargain rates.
Donald Trump may have authored the art of the deal, but he perfected the art of the steal.
Is this who you want at the forefront of your prosecution? Honestly. Is this the person that you want? This evil woman with pearls on. Probably the profile is exactly like Fonnie Willis, except you throw a couple shades of darkness in there. But the profile is the exact as Fonnie Willis. Exact. Come on, man. Come on. Seriously. Is this the person that you want bringing you to the front of the congregation? Objectively. Doesn't matter whether you like Trump, whether you will vote for him, whether you against him. We're looking at all of the factors around it in order to make an informed decision of whether or not this makes sense. Is this the woman that you want sitting at the forefront to determine your fate and pitching whether or not you should be under the jail or you should be able to get, they're going to charge you or they're going to fine you, whatever it is that they're going to fine you? Hell no. Ain't no way in the world I want that happening to me. Listen to this. Listen to what she said again.
Value his assets to acquire loans at bargain rates.
Donald Trump may have authored the art of the deal, but he perfected the art of the steal.
Let's continue.
Dealing with an unusual statute that gives the Attorney General extraordinary power in the regulation of the public markets that a private litigant bringing a lawsuit, for example, for fraud, would not have such an advantage for. In round one, the judge found that Trump had benefited, in effect had gotten the ill-gotten gains from his frauds. And what happened in phase two here, the trial judge, consistent with what he outlined in the first decision, made specific findings on how much those ill-gotten gains were. The judge tempered his remarks and observations to a certain extent, making reference to Bernie Madoff, for example, whom he posited as a distinction between Madoff's behavior and what he found here in this case, which he said, look, it's not murder. In his view, the remedies that he imposed were something, if you connect the dots, something short of what he might have imposed had the matters that he found were improper been even more serious.
So they're comparing Trump and the valuation of his assets, because let me tell you how this works, okay? How it works is rich people, and this is why it's different than people that borrow money that's not rich, okay? They tend to look at assets differently. They don't look at assets, they don't look at cash the same way that you look at it, okay? They look at cash as just a means to an end. It doesn't really mean anything to them as it means to you. So what happens is the more assets that you acquire, the more that you can borrow against them. The more that you can borrow against them, the more tax-free money you have to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do, including possibly making more money, right? So the reason why they're saying that this is so significant is because the valuation of your assets is largely going to determine whether or not a bank is going to lend you a certain amount of money to do whatever it is that you want to do with it. Okay? That's the whole premise. Now, comparing this to Bernie Madoff is 100% disingenuous because Bernie Madoff took different investors' monies, pensions, 401ks, individual investors, banks, whatever, right? And he leveraged it to run a Ponzi scheme, meaning that I'm a rob Peter to pay Paul, not really make any real investments, and then I'm going to continue to run it up until it eventually all falls and the house of cards fall. But how long can we maintain the image that we're actually giving people decent returns? You promise these wild returns until eventually you don't have enough people to continue to steal from to where you then can pay some people back in increments in order to continue to maintain your lifestyle. So to even compare this is disingenuous. You cannot compare it to somebody that is running a Ponzi scheme from a person that actually has a relationship with banks in which they're giving them the return on their investment and then is making a lot of money for the banks also. Do you understand the difference? I'm breaking it down from a C student's perspective. From a person that borrows from banks and give a return on investment based off of the amount that they make, right? And then they're paying the interest and they're paying the loans back. And they've had a great relationships with banks because the banks even said, yo, we got a great relationship with Trump and we've done good business with him, is much different than comparing him to somebody like a Bernie Madoff.
Justice Arthur Engoron concluded that Trump, his eldest sons, and 2 former top finance executives were liable for falsifying records, issuing false documents, and other related conspiracy offenses. The judge ordered Trump to pay $355 million, just shy of the $370 million James requested. He also barred Trump from holding a position as an officer or director of a New York company for 3 years.
The most recent decision is not totally surprising, except in one respect. He said in the first decision that he was going to dissolve the company in New York, pull its certificates, which would be basically the death knell for the company. He did not do so in this most recent decision. One of the things that the judge noted in a footnote to his decision was a reason why he was pulling back on the cancellation of business certificates is what he characterized as potential economic harm could come from that remedy. Instead, he imposed a series of controls on the company to ensure that the continuation of the business would be closely monitored.
The judge extended the appointment of an independent monitor to oversee the Trump Organization for at least 3 years.
That monitor will be involved day to day in making the business decisions of the organization, and virtually nothing will be done by the organization without the approval of that day-to-day, on-the-ground financial monitor in the organization.
That's crazy to me. And that's absolutely crazy to me. So now they're saying that, hey, you can't do what you want to do with your own company. We're going to install an independent monitor who we don't even know who this person is or whether or not they have great business acumen, but everything has to run through this independent monitor in order to ensure that we get our $355 million. Now, here's my other question with regard to this, because I'm still unclear even with all of my research. Who is getting this $355 million? That's all I'm asking. Who was defrauded? Because there's not one person that's come forward and said, hey, as a result of him doing business with these banks, I lost money. The banks testified and said, no, we doing good business with this person. So if the fine is being implemented, what I'm asking is, who benefits as a result of it? That's all I'm asking. Who get the money? Where does it go? Because I'm a C student, so I'm slow. This $355 million fine, who gets the money? Where does it go? And who was actually hurt as a result of the loans that he got with the banks? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. No victims, no issues, no problems. Timing of this is very interesting. And then who are the people that are hurt as a result of it? And then who is getting the money and why do they get the money even though they didn't have anything to do with the deal?
Trump and the Trump Organization were also banned from applying for loans from any financial institution registered or chartered in New York State for 3 years.
It's not just the dollars that have to be reimbursed that are significant for the Trump Organization. They're going to likely have difficulty obtaining financing. People who do business with them may be uncertain for both financial reasons and even reputational reasons.
Trump,
Don't worry, our family. I'm definitely going to deep dive into it, because if you think that this is the end of the conversation, it's not. It's just that I have to do a little bit more research to understand where this money is going, who benefits as a result of it, and then why this was a thing in the first place. But let me pivot for a minute, because I want to get Trump's response to it. I want to get his thoughts, and you guys can hear it straight from him instead of just hearing my opinion about the whole situation.
Here he is coming out.
Let's go to Mar-a-Lago in Florida. We're hearing Trump speak right now. Let's take a listen.
For, in my opinion, the country, a New York State judge just ruled that he's crooked as you could get. And a lot of people expected something like this, but not for the amount. But this is a very dishonest man. This is a man that's been overturned already on this case 4 times. But a crooked New York State judge just ruled that I have to pay a fine of $355 million for having built a perfect company.
You know, one thing that you got to admire from Trump is that the dude is completely unfiltered, and he going to say what he really think. He not going to mince words. He said, listen, I feel like the judge is crooked, and he in New York, and he ruled for an amount that's wild to me. You got to give him some credit for saying what he really think, all right?
Great cash, great buildings, great everything. It affects New York. It's mostly talking about New York, where we have a totally corrupt attorney general. She campaigned on the fact that I will get Trump, I will get Trump. Everybody's seen it. Letitia James, they've all seen it. Well, we'll be appealing, but more important than that, this is Russia, this is China, this is the same game. All comes out of the DOJ, it all comes out of Biden. It's a witch hunt against his political opponent, the likes of which our country has never seen before. You see it in third world countries, banana republics, but you don't see it here. So I just want to say this. You build a great company. There was no fraud. The banks all got their money, 100%. They love Trump. They testified that Trump is great customer, one of our best customers. They testified beautifully. And the judge knows that. He's just a corrupt person. And we knew that from the beginning. We knew it right from the beginning, because he wouldn't give it to the commercial division. This judge thought Mar-a-Lago is worth $18 million, and it's worth anywhere from 50 to 100 times that amount. So
who determines, here's my question, who determines what the valuation of these companies are? Is the judge the one that determines what the valuation of these companies are, or these buildings, or his real estate, or whatever like that? Because if this is all just a matter of perspective and opinion, how can we not look at this as a witch hunt?
We realized that. He ruled against me before he even got the case. He ruled against me. He said I was guilty. He didn't know what I was guilty of before he even got the case. And Letitia James, that's another case altogether. She's a horribly corrupt attorney general, and it's all having to do with election interference. There were no victims because the banks made a lot of money. They made $100 million. And by the way, I paid approximately $300 million in taxes as the migrants come in and they take over New York. I paid over this period of years over $300 million in taxes, and they want me out. Oh, let's see if we can get them out. These are radical left Democrats. They're lunatics, and it's election interfering. So I just want to thank you for being here. We'll appeal. We'll be successful, I think, because, frankly, if we're not successful, New York State is gone. People are moving out of New York State, and because of this, they're going to move out at a much faster rate. They used a statute. It's a consumer fraud statute that's never been used for a thing like this before. They used it on me because I'm running for president. I'm beating Biden by a lot. We're beating not only the Republicans, we're beating Biden by a lot. The poll came out today. We're up 20 points on Biden. If I weren't running, none of this stuff would have ever happened. None of these lawsuits would have ever happened. Nothing would. I would have had a nice life. But I enjoy this life for a different reason. We're going to make America great again. These are corrupt people. These are people that shouldn't be allowed to do the things they do. And they're using this as weaponization against a political opponent who's up a lot in the polls and always will be, because I'm competing with a man who can't put two sentences together, who doesn't know what he's doing. And we're heading into a third world war because of this guy. We have to win this election. They're doing everything possible to step in our way, but we're not going to stand for it.
Somebody said Anton's source video comes from a conservative news. How? All I did was present the Wall Street Journal's breakdown of the case itself. And now I'm on ABC News to actually show you exactly what it is that he's saying when he's responded. Who gave any opinion from a conservative news outlet about, see, y'all just slanted. Remove how you feel about it. Remove how you feel about it so that we can come to a conclusion and look at all of the facts. This ain't got nothing to do with no conservative news outlet. He's just talking what he's talking. I haven't even given my opinion yet. Y'all slanted. You feeling some type of way because he's telling the real.
So thank you very much. We will get back to work. It's a ridiculous award. Listen, a fine of $355 million.
Okay, that was former President Donald Trump speaking outside.
All right, I want to go back, right? Because he said, and I want to fact check this really quickly, okay? I want to fact check this really quickly. He said that the woman that's prosecuting her, Letitia James, ran on the idea that she would go and get Trump. He's saying that she ran on the idea that she would go and get Trump. So while Trump was giving his perspective, I went and looked up a video where I can kind of try to figure out where she did a campaign speech to see whether it was true, because I don't know whatsoever.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you for being here so much. Wow.
Woo! Anytime somebody is campaigning for a position, you got to take it with a grain of salt.
Truly appreciate it, and I just want to thank Meisner and Nancy for that wonderful, wonderful, kind introduction. Give it up for the president. And I don't want to keep you long. I know really it's an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you this afternoon. I don't want to keep you long. I know that a number of you are attending the festivities of the caucus weekend, and I know that there are a number of events going on, so I won't keep you long. You've heard a lot of speeches, and so I really just wanted to tell you why I'm running for re-election. You know, I spoke a few minutes ago to some students over at CUNY, and what I told those students at CUNY was that not much has been handed to you, not much was handed to me, and that we're in this position because of grit and determination and because of strength, and because we believe that education obviously is the key to overcome all things in our lives and the key to success. But I also know that determination and grit and resoluteness, but also collective action as a society, obviously, will put us in a new position and allow us to move mountains going forward. Listen, labor, as I mentioned at the breakfast, you guys have basically harvested the tools, the seeds upon which our society grows, and the reason why we've got it. And particularly during the COVID period, when most people stood at home, day to serve us as you head down and you went out to work despite all of the pain. I wanted to say thank you. And I want to tell all of you, I want to say so many family members. We lost so many members of 1199 and so many grateful. There were times that you wanted to give up, you wanted to seize, and you basically said that infection controls and you in fact went into your own pockets. Glad that the state budget contains some benefits for all of the officials who spoke. The Speaker Hasty, the Assemblywoman Kimberly Jean-Pierre is here as well. I was George Gresham of 1199, and of course, it's from Neisner. Steve Carpenter is here. 32 BJ, 371, 372. Carpenters, transport workers. Running for re-election because I've got a job to finish, my friends. Yes. Running because I recognize that there are still some challenges in our society and challenges in our state that need to be finished. I'm running because I believe in equal opportunity and justice. I believe in the Constitution, and I will not sit idly by and allow anyone to trespass on the Constitution. Yeah. I'm running because I believe in the freedoms and liberties of all New Yorkers. I'm running because they passed over 200 pieces of legislation, members of the GOP, which basically seek to restrict the rights of members of the LGBT community. I'm running because they want to turn back the clock on the progress of women in this country. I'm running.
I done already heard all I needed to hear. I've already heard everything that I'm going to play some more of it. I've already heard everything that I needed to hear. I already heard everything that I don't know if y'all just heard what I heard. Literally. So she's a feminist. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Don't tell me that agendas ain't real.
Running because I believe in immigrants. I'm running because I believe that diversity in this.
Hold on. Listen. Everything that she's saying right now is crazy. Listen, I'm going to rewind it a little bit.
Seek to restrict the rights of members of the LGBT community. I'm running because they want to turn back the clock on the progress of women in this country. I'm running because I believe in immigrants.
So now we see what's happening in New York. So y'all are a sanctuary city. Okay, cool. I got you. Let's continue.
Running because I believe that diversity is our strength. I'm running because I believe that our values right now are being questioned. I'm running because there are so many individuals who would like to put wedge issues between us and separate us. And I'm running because I don't believe in walls. I believe in all of you. I want to use the law book as a sword and as a shield and stand up to the powerful. I'm running because I want to give voice to the powerless. I'm running because I believe in labor. I'm running because employers continue to steal wages from employees. And I'm running, obviously, to hold them accountable in the state of New York. That's why I'm running for the office of Attorney General. And that's why I stand with each and every one of you. And I will continue to stand with each and every one of you because I believe in labor. Because if you believe in labor, you believe in a strong middle class. Yeah. We sued the gun lobby. We were able to get settlements. Yes. We were able to get benefits as a result of our litigation against the opioid manufacturers and distributors, delivering $1.5 billion to New Yorkers. I'm running because we need to sue. We've sued a number of bad landlords and corporations, and we've sued the most powerful individual in this country to hold him accountable. Because no one is above the law. We need to keep our children safe. We need to make sure that our homes are free of lead. We need to make sure that everyone knows that I am the people's lawyer from Buffalo all the way to Long Island. Individuals need to know that I'm going to stand up on behalf of all New Yorkers. And so it has been an honor and a privilege to, again, work with all of you. We know that COVID has revealed in our society a return to normal. We've got to return to all of us are inclusive and that all voices are heard. And that is what I intend to do. And we also need to make sure that women are respected in the workplace and that nobody is a victim of sexual harassment and will work in a toxic environment. And that women are paid for equal work for equal pay. So let me just end by saying this. As the Attorney General of the state of New York, I continue to be accessible. I will continue to hear your voice. I will continue to work with each and every one of you. I will continue to stand by your side. And I will continue, obviously.
We've heard enough. Okay. So I wanted to share that with you guys. You guys can make your own conclusion from here on out or whatever. But I wanted to share that with you guys to help you to understand who's the people behind deciding what the fate is of the person that you are to determine who's becoming the president of the United States of America. You guys can figure that out for yourself now. You can figure it out for yourself. Has nothing to do with what my opinion is. I only get one vote. I can only control me. I can only have my own opinion. But I want you guys to make your own determination, but I want you to see all of the facts. I'm going to deep dive into it all throughout the week. I want to know where the money is going. I want to know everything because we all know that one thing is for sure and two things is for certain is that it always comes back down to the money when it comes to what is happening in our society